Holy crap, it worked. Man, I don't know, something's going on with my iPad. Now we're just doing it on my phone. So at least we're live now and we're not just, I don't know what was going on earlier. So, oops, there's live for you. Golly, so many technical difficulties tonight. Ah, what's up, Jonathan? Man, sorry guys. That was a total technical cluster, man. Ah, Ray and I have been trying to go live for a little while. It's finally working. So I don't know what's going on. But hey, everybody. Friday night. It's Ray from Philly. I hope they can hear you. I don't know if they can hear you or not because it's all on my phone. Like I'm talking to you on my phone and the YouTube live is on my phone. So is it working? Is it working? Can y'all hear Ray? Hey, Ray, just talk out of your ass. Oh, they say interesting. I'm telling you. I'm just like, you know what's funny is nobody probably wants to talk to you anyway. So frustrating. It's weird though. I mean, you're talking through the phone, so you would think that it would pick up your voice either way. Um, I don't know. It's not gonna. It's not gonna be much shooting the bull with Ray if there's no Ray. That'd be like, yeah, that's freaking brilliant. What's up, Snoop? He's about to go to bed. Michael Lawson's here. Did I shoot Ray? No, I didn't shoot him. The funny thing is, I can hear you, Ray, obviously, through my phone. Who's my World Series picks and a winner? That's actually a good question. And I'll relay who Ray thinks. He can tell me. I'll tell you that. Um, Ray is. I vote. I'm going to go Dodgers Astros, and I think the Astros are going to win. So I wonder if I could do something. Let me try something. All right, hold on, guys. We're going to try something different. I'm going to move this right here for just a second. Hang with me. Because Ray, you're on Android, right? That's your problem. Damn it. Are we friends on Facebook? Do you have Facebook Messenger? Okay. Let me try that. Okay, there you are. All right. Hang up the phone, Ray, and then I'm going to call you on Facebook Messenger and see if that works. All right. Bye. So I'm going to keep shooting this way, and I'm going to hope. See, look, we're calling Ray. Ringing. He's not going to answer. What's the bet? This is the most screwed up live chat.
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Now the question becomes, can they hear you? Which is the real $1 million question. Oh, gosh, you would think this would be easier. I mean, seriously easier. Hey, try again. Ray, say something
Hello?
nice to all the people that are watching. All probably 6 of them.
What's going on, everybody in YouTube land? Anybody? Anybody?
Hey, they can hear him. Yay. So back to the wonderful question about the World Series. Thanks, Norman. Yeah, we can hear Ray. Um, I'm going with Dodgers Astros. The Stros just have, I mean, good grief. When you can roll out Verlander, Cole, and Greinke, that's kind of like game over for anybody. And
Yeah.
the Dodgers, you know, are the Dodgers. They'll just roll over everybody. Although the Braves have a shot. You know, I'm not going to discount the Braves completely, but um,
That's I agree with you on the pick though. On both teams. That's
yeah.
who I have, the Dodgers and the Astros.
Um, so that's pretty actually easy. Let's talk about awards because I think we got some compelling
Mm-hmm.
storylines for the awards this year with the MVPs in both leagues. You've got guys who look like complete front runners until the beginning of September. Both got hurt, and I'm talking about
Everybody got hurt, yeah.
Yelich and Trout. So now what? Does that change anything for you, Ray? Does that make it different for you?
Well, Trout was the far away leader until he got hurt. But I mean, my other choice was Alex Bregman, but I don't know if Alex Bregman did enough after Trout went down to, take over that. So I'm still going to go with Trout to win it in the American League.
So let's talk about Trout. Let's talk about the American League because Trout. Let's talk about Bregman or whatever. He's on a loaded team, right? And Trout's the only guy in LA. Then you've got with Trout. How many MVPs has Trout won? 3, 4, 3. I think.
I think 2.
No, he's won at least 3. I think. Let me look it up. I'm sure somebody quicker than me will tell me. Quicker than I can look it up. Man, Norman needs to shut up, dude. He's won 2. Okay, you were right, Ray. You are correct. He's won 2. He's been twice. He's been second 4 other times. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, but Trout has season high or career highs in homers, slugging. I mean, if he's already won 2 and he's setting new.
Bregman's close, but
yeah,
I don't think Bregman's gonna. Even though usually they'll pick a player that is on a winning team.
Yeah,
but everybody knows that if Trout didn't get hurt, and he only missed like maybe the last 2 weeks of the season, so.
Yep.
And at the time, Bregman had 36 homers when Trout went down with 45, and I knew Bregman wasn't going to pass him. But Bregman has 40. I still don't think he's a superior player. Don't get me wrong, Bregman. He's a great player, but I think Trout had his best year of his career this year. So I think he'll still take it home to win his 3rd.
I think so too. And I would vote for Trout. Like that would be my vote. What about the National League? Hey, Jesse, Collectorholic.
Well, I'm going to still go with the guy that had a good year all year, which is Bellinger.
Hey, you talk for a second. I got to go get Norman. You keep talking.
Yeah. I think Yelich had a shot until he got hurt a little bit earlier than Trout did. And I think Bellinger has probably just been consistent throughout the year. Ronald Acuna, I thought, he was making a push towards the end, especially if he would have got 40 stolen bases, he would have been in the 40-40 club. But since he got hurt in the last week and a half of the season, I think that kind of put him out of it. So I'm still going to go with Cody Bellinger. I think it's going to be one of those 3 guys, Yelich, Bellinger, or Acuna. And if I had to bet, I would say it'd probably be Cody Bellinger. Norman.
Norman, that's Uncle Ray. It's Uncle Ray. Will you go over here and be quiet,
Yeah,
please?
so, I mean, Acuna definitely, if he didn't get hurt, I think he would have had a really good shot against the Braves in the playoffs, too. But be that as it may, I think he kind of got knocked out the last week of the season. I'm going to stick with Bellinger.
I'm going Bellinger, too. I think Belly wins it in the NL. I think if Yelich would have stayed healthy, he would have won.
Yeah.
But I think that last
Bellinger's average came down quite a bit this year, though. I mean, he was hitting close to 400 even before the All-Star game.
Yep.
I mean, and then I noticed that he really came down in the second half to like barely over 300, like 308 or something like that. But overall, his numbers were still great. So he might get some votes taken away. A lot of his production was in the first half compared to the second half, where Yelich was just consistent all year, and Acuna had a kind of a slow start. He had a better second half. So who knows? I think the National League is kind of a little bit more up in the air, but I'll still probably give an edge to Cody Bellinger.
What about Freeman?
I think he's going to finish pretty high right now. I think he could finish in the top 5. I think Arenado is going to finish higher than Freeman.
Do you think,
even though the Rockies aren't in the playoffs?
Do you think that Freeman and Acuna split votes, and that's their problem? Like, what if, you know what I mean?
It could be. Yeah.
I mean,
it very well could be.
I'm looking at Freeman's stat line: 38 homers, 121 RBIs, 112 runs scored, 296 average. That's pretty sick. A 391 on base percentage, which is really good. I mean, there's no doubt Freddie Freeman's having a great year. I think he's just kind of the forgotten guy for whatever reason nationally, not necessarily in Atlanta. They love him there. But I think nationally he doesn't get the same pub as Acuna, and therefore that hurts his chances. So,
yeah. I think for sure it does, yeah. The odds on right now, Arenado had a career year too this year. I mean, I think he's having a career year in his homers and his average. He's hitting over 300.
Well, it's not fair. It's only his second year, so let's not get too excited. But Trout is the Mays of our generation, and then TV Kids 13 says Trout isn't even the Frank Thomas of our generation, let alone Mays. So TV Kids, are you smoking crack? Because Trout is way better than Frank Thomas ever was.
Agreed, yeah.
And, I mean, Trout is a generational talent. And if you don't think so, you're not watching right. Something's wrong, because I'm usually not that overt with my opinion. But I think...
Actually, right now, I'm looking at a site that has the odds on favorite. And they have Bellinger finishing first, Yelich second, Acuna third, Anthony Rendon, who I forgot about, finishing fourth, Ketel Marte finishing fifth, Arenado finishing sixth, Freeman they have eighth. But I forgot about Rendon, there's a lot of guys having career years this year.
Yeah, Rendon, for sure, needs to be. Yeah. But the problem is, well, it's not a problem. It's a crowded field, right? And so, you've got, how they on Baseball Reference, they will compare a player to another player. Have you seen that on there? So, Mike Trout at age 21, his most comparable player, Frank Robinson. At age 22, Mickey Mantle. 23, Mickey Mantle. 24, Mickey Mantle. 25, Frank Robinson. 26, Frank Robinson. That's pretty good company to be compared with Frank Robinson and Mickey Mantle by age. That's pretty rare air,
That's pretty sick, yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, for me, if Trout, he's played, this is his 9th year. If he literally steps in the batter's box next year and gets his 10th year, the first game of the year, and then never plays again, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so, So I read some stories about the juiced ball, and maybe it wasn't even a story. Maybe I saw a YouTube video about it, and I don't. Maybe John did that. Hitman or 3000 Hitman. Can't remember off the top of my head where I heard it, but why is
Why?
the? Do you know why the balls are flying out of the stadiums? It's because they.
Oh my God, this is just unbelievable.
Well,
Unbelievable. I mean,
they centered the
they're
core
just
better in the
flying out.
ball. They've found a way to make the technology better, so the balls are better made, and they've centered that core in that ball more, so the ball just it has some more pop to it. There's no question, but it also helps the pitchers.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny. Verlander's the one bitching the most that I've heard publicly, and he just threw a no hitter a couple, like So don't, you can't be
Yeah.
saying. I mean, are you saying if the ball was the old ball, he'd throw 5 no hitters? I mean, I don't think so, right? So,
Right.
um,
Right.
so
Well, the ball is definitely there's something. I mean, I watched a lot of interviews of former players on YouTube, and Pete Rose was on doing an interview, and he said he watched a game one time this year, and he saw a ball hit over the fence, and it landed, in the, I guess, the food area, where people are eating, and it's concrete, and he saw the ball, when it went over the fence and it landed on the concrete, it bounced up and went into the second deck. Balls don't bounce like that.
right,
Baseballs, he said, should not bounce like that,
yeah,
which made total sense. I mean,
well,
it shouldn't have bounced from the ground in the outfield where people were eating in the picnic area up to the second deck where people were sitting. That's pretty far up.
yeah,
Just
you're
on a
gonna have
bounce.
2 teams that hit 300 home runs in a season. I
I
mean,
can't believe that.
2,
I
not
can't
just
believe
1,
that.
2.
And one's the Minnesota Twins, right?
The Twins just did it
And I think the
yesterday, and the
Yankees.
Yankees. I think they did it tonight because they're playing the Rangers, and they've hit like 17 home runs tonight or something.
God.
Not really, but I mean, it's the Rangers are losing, I think 7-2 or something. Gardner homered, Maben homered earlier, so I don't know how many they're at as a team, but it's close. They were at like 299 or something, so they're over
Wow.
300 now, I think. Let's talk about Cy Young.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
Well, American League, Verlander. He's the only 20-game winner in all of baseball, and he's having a great year.
What about Garrett Cole?
National League, I think he'll get some votes, but I think Verlander had a better year.
I agree with you. I'm just throwing out something for us to talk about.
Oh yeah, I think he'll definitely be in contention for sure. He had a great. He's 300 strikeouts, which is great. National League, I'm kind of proud about this one because I made this prediction at the beginning of the year. Maiko and me and Wesker Griff were doing a prediction on awards, and I called Strasburg for National League Cy Young. I still think he's going to do it. I think he's got like 18 wins. He's got a lot of strikeouts. He's leading the National League in wins. Kershaw's got 16, but Strasburg's got 18. He's having a great year. So, I mean, it still could be Kershaw. I mean, the Dodgers are in first place, but
DeGrom.
I'm still going to stick with Strasburg.
I'm going with DeGrom.
Really?
What's up, Cards of Giants? Impact player Josh is in here. Michael Lawson, Lou Rock, KB Love, Snoop, RJ, New York Yankees fan 7, who needs to do some more videos. He hadn't done any videos in a while, I don't think. Hardball Crazy, 4-leaf cards, 3rd time around. That's I don't know you. What's let's see. 3rd time around. Nice to meet you. I usually recognize channels pretty well, like that I've seen them before somewhere, but JBKB collector. Andy's in here. What's up, Andy? She blinded me with refractors. Dustin and Blake. Dustin Abraham's in here. Is Blake in here? That's the question. Blake should be asleep past his bedtime. pitchers get no love in the hobby. That's a great point. Let's and I'll tell you my theory on why that is. Pitchers are fragile, and none of them put up the numbers like they used to. Meaning,
Right.
you're not getting.
It's a different game.
It's a totally different game, and that's not bad. I'm just saying that if you want to know why pitchers aren't loved in the hobby, it's the last pitcher that I think was really beloved in the hobby. God, the Yankees just hit another homer. It's 8-2 now. Good grief. God, I just got distracted by the Yankees killing us. Oh, Eric's in here. He said Alonso hit his 52nd tonight. So you got Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, he did.
Certainly Nolan Ryan, but I would actually probably say Clemens was the most recent.
Yeah, I was going to say Clemens, too.
Just because of what Clemens did dazzle. Granted, it might have been artificially enhanced, but so was, again, forget about the steroids. Everybody did them. That's kind of my theory. And so
Yeah.
Clemens would be my.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what do you think?
Clemens was a superstar, definitely.
Why isn't hobby love shown to more pitchers?
Well, because they're using more of a bullpen, has a bigger role in the game now. So pitchers they're not pitching complete games now. They're all on pitch counts of 100. As soon as they get to 100, pitchers they're not even going 7 innings for the most part. They're going
Right.
Or so. See, in my opinion, that's why you're not going to see 300 game winner anymore.
I'd be shocked if it ever happened again.
I don't think you. Yeah, I can't. I can't see anyone getting to 300. I think the new 300 is going to be 250 maybe, and so pitchers. I mean, when I was growing up, you would have 6, 7, 8 guys in one season get 20 wins, and we got Verlander that just got his 20th, and he's the only one. So I mean, kudos to him, but you don't see 20 wins anymore. So it's just not a big thing. But I think it's not something as far as hobby related that should be ignored, because I think I told you this a couple months ago that if you look at current hitters right now and current pitchers, there's actually more current pitchers right now that are guaranteed to get into the Hall of Fame more than hitters. There's only 2 hitters that I could think of right now that you could say are a stone cold lock to get in, and that's Pujols and Cabrera. I'm not going to say Trout yet, even though we all know he's definitely on the highway.
Well, he's not eligible.
But he needs a few more years because he's only been playing 8 years.
9 years.
And if he does those few more years, like you said earlier, he's definitely going to get it. But a guy that, without a doubt, 100%, it's just Pujols and Cabrera. But there's 6 pitchers that I can name that I think are locks.
Okay, let me see if I can guess your
Scherzer.
6. Let me guess the other 4 then. So Verlander and Scherzer, I
Okay.
agree. Kershaw.
Yep.
So that's 3 more. I have to. Greinke.
Yep.
That are pitching right now.
He just got his 3,000th strikeout this
Oh,
year.
Sabathia.
Sabathia.
And I'm only saying Sabathia. He's not really pitching right now because he's hurt.
Yeah, he kind of retired before the playoffs started.
And give me another hint on the other one. What team?
Well, you might not agree on the 6th one. It's not Mad Bum, former Philly, former Ranger.
Oh, Cole Hamels. No, not yet. Not Cole Hamels.
Well, he's the next guy after Verlander gets his 3,000th. He's the next guy to get the 3,000.
Yeah, but he's not a lock. I don't think Hamels is a lock right now. If Hamels retired after this year, he is not getting in the Hall of
I'm
Fame.
going to go out on a limb and say, yeah.
No way. He has no 20-game win seasons, none. He's never won a Cy Young.
No.
No, absolutely
No.
not. just because he did well in a couple of postseasons, that's not enough.
I'm telling you.
And I'm a Hamels
He's going
fan.
to finish his career.
Well, I'm not talking about how
I
he'll
think he
finish.
finishes his career with about 220 wins, 230. And he's going to have well over 3,000 strikeouts. And right now, there's 17 members in the 3,000 strikeout club, of which 15 of those, actually 18 now, 15 of the 18 are in. The 3 that are in, one is Sabathia because he's not eligible yet, and the other 2 are Clemens and Schilling. Clemens, I think we're going to agree is going to eventually get in, and so is Schilling.
Eric
I think
just
Schilling's
cracked me
eventually
up.
going to get in. So 3,000 strikeouts is huge. It's huge, and there's going to be guys with 3,000 strikeouts.
You're kind of breaking up a little, Ray. Nobody can hear you. Hold on. We can't hear you. Hold on, Ray. We can't hear you.
Ray's in the shower.
There we go. That's better. I don't know what you just did, but it made it much better.
Am I all right now?
That's better. Are you moving around at all or anything, or are you just sitting in one place?
Better.
Better.
Yeah, I was. Now I'm just staying in one place.
All right, stop moving around. that's
Okay.
So the last thing we actually heard before it went kind of Charlie Brown on us was I can't
Hamels.
even. Yeah, Hamels. So who was it? Ray or Eric said Harold Bain says it's okay to let Hamels in. So there you go.
Oh God.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think Hamels has a shot only because he's 35, and I think he can pitch 4 more years. And if he projects to do the same that he's been doing, he's going to finish with about 220, 230 wins and over 3,000 strikeouts, which
But that's
going to
not
get the person in.
that's not what you said. You said right now locks. Like if they retired right now. That's how I look at it. Like that's what I thought you were saying.
I think 4 of those 6 are locks. Greinke and Hamill still have a little bit more work to do because they're not in the 3,000 strikeout club, but they're both very, very close. So that's why I feel, I don't know, I think there's people, the point was that were people ignoring pitchers, which I don't think they should because, the pitchers there's quite a few pitchers that are closing in on milestones and things like that, and the 300 wins is going to be a thing of the past. So people are just looking at, well, this guy's not going to get 300 wins. He's not going to get in, but I don't think 300 is going to do it anymore. I think, 230, 240. Look at Roy Halladay. Roy Halladay only had 202 or 204 wins, and he's nowhere near 3,000 strikeouts.
Let me look.
I think he had 2,200 strikeouts.
I'm telling you,
Hamels has already got.
Baseball Reference might be the world's greatest creation. Yeah, but okay, so Halladay only won 203 games, but he only lost 105. That's a 660 winning percentage. That's just insane.
Right. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm just saying he doesn't have the career numbers that you would typically see. He dominated. He won 2 Cy Youngs. He played, pitched a perfect game, pitched a no-hitter, and I think he deserves to be in. But 203 wins and 2,200 strikeouts is awfully low.
Greinke is at 205 and 123, so very similar to Halladay.
Yeah.
What's funny is
strikeouts are like 2,600, I think.
Yeah, but in 05, Greinke led the league in losses. He was 5-17, and I mean he has full seasons he pitched. He has 1, 2, 3 seasons when he was under 500. And again, we all know that win-loss is not necessary. I mean, look at DeGrom, Felix Hernandez, guys that have won big awards with
Sure.
subpar records. I mean, DeGrom was what, 2 games over 500, and I think Felix had a losing record the year he won. He was like 11-12 or something. Let me look that up. I'm curious. But,
Sure.
so I think people
Yeah,
look
I mean,
at
Greinke is a good pitcher. I mean, it's what helps him now is that he's pitching for the Astros, which will help his
13
hobby
and 12.
getting postseason exposure now. So now people are going to be seeing Greinke a lot in October. So
Yeah.
and his rookie card is 2002 Bowman Chrome. I've been looking since July and I can't find a 2002 Bowman Chrome Zach Greinke rookie. It just and if you do find one in a 10, they're like hundreds of dollars. So that card is just people kind of already know.
What do you think about
The word.
Felix?
I think he's going to come up short. I think Felix Hernandez is going to come up short unless. I mean, I know he pitched his last game in Seattle, and I don't know if he's going to continue to pitch or if he's retired. I think.
You sound like you're moving around again.
20 responses.
You sound like you're moving around again.
Oh yeah. All right. Let me sit down.
Dude, what are you doing? Like jogging or something? What's going on? Just
No, just
sit in a chair and just stand there because I can't hear you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just kidding with you. But
yeah, Felix. I don't know what's going to happen with Felix. It's going to be interesting, but I don't think he's struggling these last. He's been kind of a non-factor because of all his injuries and stuff in the past few years. He's just kind of like disappeared.
Yeah, but for about 6 or 7 years, he was pretty dominant.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Will Sheffield get in? That's a great question. I personally think Sheffield should be in the Hall of Fame, like with zero question. I can't believe how much. I think the ballot's just been so stacked, Ray, that it's hurt Sheffield, it's hurt Larry Walker, guys like McGriff for sure. I think that there was just so much dilution in the voting, and I think Sheffield was but to me, I think there are 2 players that I would say I would take over Sheffield that should get in. Their numbers don't say it, but I would do Albert Bell, certainly Manny Ramirez, but he's on a different level. Albert Bell and Juan Gonzalez, kind of from that same era, should be in before Gary Sheffield is in. Because people were afraid of Albert Bell. Pitchers were afraid of Albert Bell. Pitchers were afraid of Juan Gonzalez. Yeah. It wasn't that Sheffield didn't have an amazing career. I just think that when I think back to the 90s, essentially, is what we're talking about, late 80s, early 90s, all the 90s, you look at what Sheffield did. He stuck around long enough to get some milestones, but Bell and Gonzalez were just beasts, absolute beasts. Gonzalez won 2 MVPs, 2 home run titles. Bell won 1 MVP, maybe, or 0. Well, maybe he didn't win 1. Now that I think about it, but still.
We want to talk about 2 guys that put fear. Juan Gonzalez and Albert Bell, like literally scared the bejesus out of pitchers. They put fear in those pitchers.
And then back in the day, if you want to talk about guys that really should be in, Dick Allen did the same thing in the late 60s, or all the 70s. Yeah. Dick Allen was the same kind of hitter. And people that haven't looked at Dick Allen's stats.
He's a great hitter. Him and Albert Bell, I'm looking at their numbers, are pretty similar. I think Dick Allen has more hits, and they're about the same in homers.
Of course, Julie wants me to call her right now. I'm like, man. Who said Dale Murphy just now? Everybody always brings up Dale Murphy. And it's funny how we end up talking about this all the time, mainly because we both love the Hall of Fame so much, Ray, that we end up just, this is where we end up just going. Everybody wants Julie's out of town. She went up to OU for Parents Weekend with Jessica. I didn't go because we decided late, and so Julie's actually staying with Jessica in her dorm. And that would be really weird if I went to a college and stayed in a girl's dorm room. That would be mildly creepy.
It'd be a little creepy.
Who said? I'm a yes on Maurer too, but not for the same reason.
Yeah, I'm a yes on Maurer. Which, by the way, PSA, I don't know if you got the email. PSA did a vote on future Hall of Fame registry.
Yep.
And they added 2 cards up that week. They added the 1990 Leaf Larry Walker and the 2004 Topps Yadier Molina rookie to get in. Which I can't believe the Ted Simmons rookie didn't get enough votes to get in the future Hall of Fame set registry. And I really, really think Ted Simmons is going to get in on the, I think it's this December's.
Yep, it is.
Veterans Committee.
He'll be on the ballot this December.
And I've been hearing so many things all year that he's a highly likely candidate on this December's Veterans Committee to get in. So I can't believe people didn't vote, for Ted Simmons on the future. The other guy was Billy Wagner, who I voted for, and he didn't get in. But they did vote for Molina and Larry Walker. So buy your Walker rookies and Molina rookies now. Molina's rookie's really high in the Gem in 10.
It's stupid high.
A lot higher than I thought. It's like over $150 for a Gem in 10, which is insane.
Jeff's talking about Baines.
Do you think Yadier Molina is a Hall of Famer?
No.
I actually don't think he should be.
I do not.
He doesn't have any offensive production enough for me to be like, wow. I mean, I know he's a great defensive catcher, but I mean, there's no power in his stats. There's just nothing that really stands out. I mean, I don't know.
Everybody's talking about Baines ruining it. I'm seeing all these comments. Baines ruined it, whatever, and he set the standard really low. Look, we think that's the first time. It's only happened because it's recent. Dude, they've been letting in very mediocre players for a long time, of which Harold Baines is one of them. But you could rattle off actually 10 or 12 guys that are in the Hall of Fame worse than Harold Baines. And I mean, I'm just saying we always throw Baines under the bus, and it's fun, and I get it. But so Andy, I would say no to that. He said Maurer or Molina before Maurer, but Maurer won like 2 or 3 batting titles as a catcher.
Yep.
That's no small feat. Now,
Maurer can really and hit for high average. Like, he was a guy that can contend for Triple Crown when he first came up, and he was the first catcher that I ever remember. When he first came up, he was being compared to Johnny Bench. I remember distinctly hearing Maurer was being compared to Johnny Bench, and he was that good. I think I think he had a long enough career at catcher to get in. So I'm a definite yes on Joe Maurer.
Let's talk about some hobby stuff, because the question came in about, who was it? I'm looking for it. So many comments. Y'all are doing great. Mike, are you worried about Slab Gate? Let's just pull that scab right off real quick. My simple answer is no, because there's not a damn thing I can do about it. And I don't know. What's the point in worrying about it? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I'm not going to burn my slabs, as Eric is saying. Recap Slab Gate. Okay. What, really? Recap Slab Gate. Okay. Let me give you the quick and dirty version of Slab Gate. Some guys altered some cards. Some guys bought some cards, took them, broke them out, altered them through pressing, trimming, recoloring, soaking, you name it,
Whatever. Yeah.
all kinds of alterations, resubmitted them to PSA, achieved a higher grade, sold them for tremendous profit.
Right.
And many of the parties in that equation were all in cahoots together. So,
right.
And it's proven. So it's not even, there's no more speculation on if it's real or not. It's absolutely real. It's how deep does it go? How many cards were really affected in reality? I think it's such a small percentage of the cards that are out there.
You hit it right there. Right there. You just said it right there. We talked about that before. Like, yeah, it's bad, but when in the whole big scheme of things, and I hate to use the word scheme, but the whole big,
in the big picture,
looking from the big picture, I don't even think it's 1% of all the cards that have been submitted.
It's got to be way less than that.
Not to say that the cards that have been found to be trimmed should be swept under the rug and they should be ignored. No, absolutely not, because you don't want it to grow to 2% next year and 4%. No, I mean, it's good that it's been nabbed now, but in the big essence of everything, it wasn't that big of a deal because of how many they caught out of the thousands and thousands. I mean, there's probably 1 million cards that have been graded, and they caught, like, I don't know, and it's in the hundreds, maybe?
Yeah.
If that?
400 or 500.
Not even 1%.
Eric can tell me how many. RJ, that is a great point. How come pressing is okay in comics, which it is, Ray? If you don't know that, you can take a comic that has maybe some on the spine or a wrinkle somewhere on it, a surface wrinkle. They literally press it out and make the book look pristine. And that's totally an accepted practice in comic books. So why isn't that okay in cards? And the answer is because they're different mediums. They're different. Like, I wouldn't care if my comic book was pressed, but I would really care if my card was altered. I don't know why I do.
Well, there is some things that people do to cards that PSA doesn't consider altered, like the old trick of using like a stocking to get wax off of a card.
Right. Or
I've seen it done hundreds of times, and PSA is okay with that. They call that, instead of alteration, I think they use restoration. The whole thing that Brent said months ago, the difference between alteration and restoration.
Yep.
Where, there's certain things that restores the cards that it wasn't. It was already on there because of the gum. It wasn't something that trimming is more vitally worse than using a stocking to rub wax off. Like, you're just taking something off wax you're restoring it back to its originality, whereas cutting it, you're not restoring it, you're trying to improve it, which is a big difference. So I don't have a problem with sometimes using stockings on cards to get, like, a pencil mark off or a wax off, which I've seen done hundreds of times. I've seen it done at my LCS.
And guys buff out Chrome cards all the time.
Yeah.
If you get a thumbprint on a Chrome card, you can buff that right out and
you can buff it right out, like,
little Windex,
and that's okay.
And well, supposedly that's okay. If you're a hardcore truist, and you would say that's not okay. Once you do something to the card, you have forever altered it, and therefore, too bad, so sad is what some people say.
I think it's all going to work itself out. I really do. I think it's just going to take time. I mean, it's something that hit all of us this year, earlier in the year, and I think we just have to give PSA some time, and maybe SGC and all these other companies, just to try and, I'm sure they're working hard to try and resolve all of the issues to try and make things better. I mean, it's not something that's going to be done overnight.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect PSA at the National to say anything because it was only like a month old.
Right.
It's not something you want to rush into and say something just for the sake of saying something, and it's not thought out. You know, I would rather them take their time and not say nothing at the National and wait till maybe next National when Ray from Philly's there aiming for AC, and just
Aim for AC.
wait. Wait maybe next year and then give them time. I think it's going to work itself out. I'm not really that. I mean, you know, it sucked. You know, I didn't like hearing this, and I was on the forums myself and trying reading it, and then I just didn't want to hear it anymore because I was like, oh man.
So I need to address this.
Out.
First of all, BD Kane says, how do you know if a Chrome card has been buffed? The answer is you never would. It looks just like it came out of the pack.
Right.
And a lot of guys are saying that PWCC showed up at the National, and Gary says they would say something, just not on camera. And I haven't even told anyone this.
Right.
I'm telling you all this for the first time tonight. I talked to Brent Huggins for about 15 or 20 minutes at the National. I asked him for a selfie, which he politely declined. I was with Snoop. It was me and Snoop were there. And we talked to Brent Huggins. Snoop was trying to secure an interview with him for his show. We ended up asking him a bunch of... I haven't told anybody because it was a very underwhelming conversation. He looked absolutely like he had been run over by a truck. I mean, he was just so downtrodden. Brent Huggins, if you don't know, is the CEO of PWCC, which is Pre-Reward Card Collector, which is the largest implicated eBay seller in the whole Slab Gate thing. And so after when I talked to him, we asked him questions about, which he said he was willing to talk to us, just not on camera. And he wouldn't take a picture with me.
That makes sense.
And then... everybody's seen the video of JY Sports Card Guy, I think, confronting his wife. We didn't have, our conversation with him was more like, okay, now what? And he said that they're going to start the program of starting to buy the cards back, which they have. You've seen some guys do videos on that, of getting letters, including, I think, Dave, Blue Jacket 66. But... and he said, we asked him directly, what are you going to do with those cards? Because, I guess the two choices would be destroy them because they're, they're not fake, but they're just been, kind of screwed up. And then the other question was, or what else he could do with it, is take him out of circulation, kind of let the FBI, which is investigating this, by the way, very heavily, let them finish what they're going to do, and then they're going to decide if they maybe send them back to PSA to be reslabbed and just labeled altered, which they do that. PSA does that all the time. They label, you can buy a PSA altered card, because that's what it is. It's altered, right? And so... again, I'm not opposed to, honestly, if you want to trim a card and make it look great, more power to you. Just disclose it. To me, it's the fact that it was being hidden is what really pisses me off. If it was altered and it was labeled altered, I would know as a consumer what I'm buying. I'm buying an altered card, right? But if it's just... they're taking a 5 and making it a 9 by trimming or whatever they're doing. That's deception. That's fraud. It's illegal. And man, we're getting really hot and heavy into this, which is kind of funny. I didn't expect to get into this. That's for sure tonight. But
I agree with everything you just said because, if as long as they disclosed it, I would have been okay because they have tons of cards where it says authentic altered.
Yeah,
they look great. They look like they would be a 3 or a 4, but they know it's been altered, and they'll say, well, we can't give it a grade because it's been altered, so we're giving it authentic, and we're letting you know it's altered. But those ones that weren't, as far as the Slab Gate ones, yeah, that wasn't cool, and that's the whole thing there is not disclosing that it was altered. Wasn't the most popular card of all time altered, the 52 Topps Mantle? The
Yes.
Gretzky,
No.
Bruce McNall.
Well, that's the Wagner.
I'm sorry, not 52 Mantle. I'm sorry,
Yes.
the Wagner.
The Wagner was altered.
Right, because there's a book on it called The Card, which I read 2 years ago on my way to Cooperstown on a bus. And for years, people always wondered if that card was altered, and Bill Mastro finally came out and admitted it several years ago that, yeah, he did, but the card's still going up in value.
Yeah.
It's still in the millions.
And what's great about it right now, though, on the comments we're seeing right now, Ray, people on both sides of that argument are saying, I'd never buy an altered card, and other guys saying, no problem. Well, that's your choice. But at least, you know what I mean? If you say I don't ever want any altered, I don't want any either. I own 0 altered cards that say altered. I shouldn't say, I probably own some altered cards. They're not disclosed as such.
You don't know about it, right?
But I would never buy an altered slab. And I know there are guys that do that. There's nothing wrong with it. I just choose not to.
Right.
But at least I would know, right? Either way. So, and the fact that PSA isn't catching these cards, man, that's a whole nother ball of wax that we've already...
You know what? It's really weird. I found out, and I think Snoop was the one that told me, he found out there's only 20 people that work there that do the grading. With all the thousands of cards that get graded a year.
I think there's a few more. There's not a ton more than that. I think Eric actually knows the number. But
I think Snoop said he asked a guy, it was like 22 or 24 people there that grade, which is just...
I've heard 22, 24.
Eric says 22. That's that's what I heard, 22. It's just think of that. So are they going to make human error? 22 guys grading thousands of cards a day? I would think kind of, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, not that I'm sticking up for them and condoning anything they could have done mischievously. I don't know what they did was mischievously or not, but it does kind of make sense that when you have just 22 guys grading and there's thousands of cards going in a day, you would think there's going to be human error. You would think. You know, I'm not saying anything other than that. Like, it makes mathematical sense. Like, with 22 guys, we got 10,000 cards in today.
Right.
They're kind of rushing to get them, and then people are always complaining they're slow. And then they wanted to speed up the process. Well, if they speed up the process, things are going to slip through the cracks, and things are going to get missed, too.
Michael Lawson asked me, would I buy a altered 52 Mantle? No. I'd buy a PSA 1 before I'd buy an altered Mantle. That looked like a 7 or something. I'd rather buy a real 1. But that's just me. That's just my choice. If somebody said they would buy an altered Mantle, I'd be like, man, awesome. That's a great card. Like, good for you. I just wouldn't want to. Maybe that's a good point. KB loves it. I might buy an altered Wagner. That might be it.
There's an exception, yeah.
So, let's see. What is Bink Scott saying? How do you catch 82 Ripken or but can't catch the big ones? That's a great question, Gary. They can catch some and don't others. I mean, I guess that's welcome to human nature or the human element.
I mean, it's human error.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people should go to SGC. I mean, I have no clue. I know SGC announced last year that we're trying to do unbiased grading, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, meant, not having humans grade it and just have machines or computers grade it. Yeah. Would that be better? I don't know. Tell you what, though, it would be a lot harder to get a 10 if that was the case.
Brandon says, why don't they measure each card? They're supposed to measure each card. I've gotten cards back that have been minimum size requirement not met. So I know they measure them somehow because I've gotten cards that didn't meet the measurement standards. So
And the Ripken's known for that. The 82 tops, not the traded, his regular 3-panel one. That card's known. I sent 2 of them in. Both of them come back minimum size requirement.
yeah.
I don't know why that particular card, that 82 Ripken, comes back minimum size requirement. Like, I've seen people do videos on it. They've had the same experience where the 82 Ripken comes back that way. It's just weird. I don't get it.
Quick plug for my channel while we got a moment. Filmington's on here, and he and I are going to do a new episode of Beyond Cardboard on Sunday night. I'm hoping to do it, I don't know what time, because my problem is I'm going to the last game at the ballpark against the Yankees on Sunday. That's a 2:05 first pitch, and I'm going to stay for the whole thing. And so I'll get home, and then I'm going to call Phil, and we're going to try. So probably, let's say 4 hours for that to get all done. And then I get home at 6-ish. By the time I get everything settled and get everything ready to go live, call Phil. It's going to be 6:30, 7 o'clock Central. And then the Cowboys game starts. And so I'm going to have to do it through the Cowboys game and just DVR the Cowboys game. But you guys have to promise not to tell me the score during the game, during the live stream of the Beyond Cardboard episode. I don't want to know. I'll be recording it. So anyway, that's happening on Sunday. So if you want to come learn a lot more about Phil, come join that. You will. I haven't done a Beyond Cardboard episode since Up North Collectors, who are actually on here right now too. Mike's on here. But it's been several months, so I need to get back in a pattern of doing that. So, man, we got lots of folks.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
So we went from award winners to Slab Gate.
I know, and we've already been on an hour. So what does that tell you? I don't like going longer than an hour on live streams for some reason. I feel like on playback, people kind of just say, "Oh, it's over an hour. I'm not even going to bother watching it at all." And so, we can wrap up here. Just when Stefan gets here, we all leave because nobody wants to talk to Stefan. And Up for Riggins here, man.
So do you want to recap the award winners that we made predictions on? The MVP, AL, we both agreed Trout.
Yeah, we both agreed Trout. Yeah.
And nationally, we both agreed Bellinger.
Indeed. And if
nationally,
you want to,
Cy Young.
If you want to find out why we say that, go back and you can watch it once this uploads. But we didn't argue. We discussed it for quite a while. Okay.
Nationally, Cy Young, you had DeGrom.
I have DeGrom. Go Mets.
And I had Strasburg.
And you have Strasburg. American
League Cy Young, I had Verlander, but I don't know if you agreed on Verlander. I don't know.
I do. Oh, absolutely. I was just throwing out Garrett Cole and, well, he's really the only
guys that are going to get votes, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
We didn't pick Rookie of the Years.
I don't.
Well, Pete Alonso.
Sure, that's kind of a no-brainer. Jeff?
And the American League, I'm going to take the kid from the Astros, Jordan Alvarez.
Yes, that's a good pick. That guy's been a beast in half a season. I mean, an absolute crazy.
I'm definitely going to say Jordan's. He's got 20-some homers in 83 games.
Hey, Jeff, airtime. I want to do that. Please, for the love of Pete, teach me, or have Phil teach me. I would love to use a split screen app when I'm doing any of this stuff. I just don't know.
We've been trying to figure that out for how many years?
Several.
A lot.
But
I did show you we can do a split screen, but we couldn't do it live. It just had to be recorded and uploaded.
Right. StreamYards. All right, I got to write that down because I'm pretty stupid. Let me write that down. Where is a pen? Oh, a pen's right here. Hold on, my phone might fall. Okay.
Yeah, Andy, that's what I use Zoom for doing split screen, but I don't know if it's able to do it live. I've done it with Cardboard Chronicles, where we did a split screen and then he uploaded the video later. Yeah, Zoom's pretty cool. but I don't know if Zoom can allow it to go live. Maybe, I don't know. I have to try it.
I was talking to Phil about this. I think it was maybe even just yesterday. Like, how dumb is it that Google doesn't have a way to do that, like themselves?
Yeah.
You know, Google Hangouts, I don't think works anymore for live, but
No.
oh, Gary, he's on Sunday night. So today's Friday, Sunday.
Okay.
Mike, can I do a PSA submission? No. I actually just sent a bunch of cards to another YouTuber to send in for me. You can also send them to Mike O. Mike O does submissions.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do regular cards, I'd send them to Mike O for PSA if you want to get in a group submission. And the benefit of a group submission is that if you only have 3 or 4 cards, you can get the benefit of bulk pricing in a group submission. That's kind of the benefit of that. If you're going to do graded autographs or you want to get autographs authenticated through PSA or whatever, I would use Card Cutter. His channel name is Card Cutter. His real name is Garrett, and his business is Slab City Sports Cards, where he does his submissions through. So those are some resources for you if you want to do that. I will not be doing that. I don't have the time. Don't want to spend the time to do it. The juice is not worth the squeeze for me. And Ray, you've used Myco before, right?
What's that?
You've used Myco before, right?
Oh yeah, I just sent him cards this week. This is like the 3rd time now I'm using Mike.
Okay, that's awesome.
So yeah, it goes pretty good speed. Like 3 months is about average time, and you know, Mike submitted like 500 cards for this order, I think, at the Philly show. I got there a little late, so I just shipped them to him this week. But 3 months, I'm happy with that, especially when he's sending hundreds of cards. You know, I'll probably get him back in maybe right after the holidays in January. I sent him like 16 cards. So.
Yeah. Looks like the feed locked up.
No, it seems all right to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm seeing your movement.
Well, we've been on a long time. Let's hang up and we'll do this again. I love doing these little just off the cuff, shooting the bulls, and
we'll never know what we're going to talk about. We always sit down and say, what's the agenda? And then it ends up going 3 different directions, which the people guide us, you know, they tell us what they want to talk about. So
that's right. And we appreciate that. We love the interaction and love talking to you guys. And I love seeing all the awesome chats and everything. So, man, thanks for doing this, Ray. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, I haven't told a lot.
Glad to have you on.
Some people know this, but you were the first guy, however many years ago it was, that I reached out to and actually talked to that was another YouTuber.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, I've never thought I could reach out and talk to people. And today alone, I've talked to either via text or on the phone, you and Garrett and Eric and John Hitman 20, or I keep saying Hitman 23. That's John 3000 Hitman. Because I'm going to be on his. Did I tell you I'm going to be on his podcast tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. Yep. So just there's so much connectivity within this community. It's really cool, and I appreciate you being my friend. You're a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was like almost 5 years ago.
No, was it really?
It was the end of 2015. So coming 4 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. And we've been good friends ever since. So, and you still haven't hung up on me. That's good. All right, brother. Well, have a great weekend, my friend. And
all right, you too.
We will talk again soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We'll catch you guys later. Keep collecting.
See ya.